Hello everyone, my name is Mr. H, and for today's tutorial, we're going to be mixing a little bit of Halloween with Christmas. So let's get started. So step 1, open Blender. Step 2, we're going to add a modifier to our cube, and the modifier we're going to add is the subdivision modifier. So the first shape we're going to make is like a triangle shape, or this actually might be the bottom portion of our Christmas hat. So we're just going to press A, S, and Z. We're just going to scale that down really quickly. Alright. That's good. Now our next step, we're going to add mesh, and we're going to add a cube. It's going to be the top portion of our hat. Just move that up. We're going to go to edit mode, pressing tab, this bottom portion, and we're going to press E. Alright, now I can press A and S to scale that down, press G and Z to move that down. Alright, now we're going to enable proportional editing. So proportional editing is what's going to allow us to move our hat in the little fold. So it's going to fold to the right side. So first, we're gonna just grab this portion so you can test it out. So you see, proportional editing just moves the edges to where we move it. And I'll show you an example of what I'm going to do. So I'm just gonna keep scaling and rotating this. So extrude, rotate, scale, grab. And we almost have our shape. I think that should be good enough for our Christmas hat shape. We can also extrude again if you really like to. And kind of just move this a little bit higher, move this a little lower. Alright, that works. Alright, so now we have our hat shape. Now we're going to add another cube, and this for a little ball. I'm going to scale that down. Going to add the subdivision modifier. Honestly, the cube and the subdivision modifier I love. Like I use that in almost every time I'm on Blender, every model I make, I just use cubes. Alright. Now that we have that, let's add our texture. You know, we're known for our knitted texture. Let's keep going. So we're going to add modifier. We're going to search and displace. We're going to add new. We're going to go down here to textures. We're going to rename this to knitted. And we're going to open our texture. If you don't have our texture, I'm going to just quickly show you where to get it from. So you're going to go to your browser, and we're going to search up screws and circuits. So this is our site. You're going to click on our site, our home page. You're going to click on our hamburger menu, and you're going to go to tutorials. From tutorials, you're just going to click on this image and download it. Now that you have our texture, we're going to go back to Blender. Alright. Okay, now that we're here in our texture portion, we're going to click open. Go to where you saved your texture. So you're going to use the search bar, and you're going to search up woven. And open texture. Alright, so it looks a little wonky at the start, but we can get that fixed. Changing our coordinates to UV and our strength to 0.1. Now all we got to do is increase the subdivisions. Alright, so you can see our hat looks a little weird, especially at this portion. And to fix this, what we're going to do is we're going to go to edit mode by pressing tab. We're going to click on A, and we're going to click here on UV, Smart UV Project, and just change this to 0.2, and just click on wrap. Now if we just enable the vision so we can see this in edit mode, you can see our hat looks much better. The pattern has fixed itself a little bit, You can see the pattern goes in a weird way. You know, it's kind of uneven. The reason is because when we UV unwrapped it, it cut out each section. So to fix this, we might have to fix it manually. So I want the pattern to basically go up towards the ball. So here on face select, you can just select this face, and you can select it here on the right side, and we can just rotate these. Oh, make sure you take off proportional editing. So you just press Ctrl Z to undo, and let's rotate these. So let's select both and rotates. So I want this to go up. So it kind of looks like it went the same direction just because of the texture itself. But let's keep going. So I don't want this to be sideways. I want this to be going up. I also want it to kind of match the other portion. So if you can get it to match, that's a win. All right. And we can just keep going with these. If you have, you can just drag left click if you want to select multiple, and you can shrink these if you want it to be bigger or smaller. So I'm gonna see what else needs to be done. So I'm probably gonna make these a bit bigger, and I'm gonna just move them a little bit, just shift them. There you go. All right. All right. And you just keep playing around with this, honestly. So to whatever looks good to you. And now let's do the same for the rest. So add modifier, search, displace. You're going to click here in this drop down menu, and you're going to click on knitted. Coordinates from local to UV, and strength to 0.1. And once again, you're going to increase the level viewport. All right. Now for this portion, once again, click here so we can see it. We're going to click A, and we're going to rotate. And let's see how this looks. So I feel like there's just a little too much pattern. So once again, we can just left click drag on this side UV editing section, and we can just scale this down. And I feel like that looks much better. You can change it to how you like. Now for the ball. So add modifier, search, displace, drop down, UV, 0.1, and increase the subdivisions. Now for the ball, since I'm probably going to 3D print this, I don't want these textures to be small. I want this to be bigger, like so. Now if you want to fix the actual model itself, we can go back to layouts, go back to edit mode by pressing tab, and we can just select the faces and move them manually. Just select it and move it. So select and G. So how you like it. All right. Now our last step is, so it looks nice when I render it. So in case you just want to use this for modeling purposes, we're going to go to the materials tab, and we're going to add a material specifically on this section. So I'm going to click on new, and we're going to change the color to red. Now if we go here to material preview, we can see what it looks like. Okay. Now we're going to do our bottom section of our little bat. So we're going to click on add, mesh, and cube. And once again, we're going to go to modifiers, add modifier, search, subdivision surface. We're just going to move that to the bottom. Oh, one more step, this will help us in the future, is we're going to just shift select all of these, and we're going to press Ctrl J to join. Now this is going to be all one part. Okay, perfect. Now going back to our bat. So I'm going to just increase the subdivisions to 5 at the start. And I'm also going to Shift D, duplicate this. So now we have 2. And we're going to add a mirror modifier, and we're going to mirror on the y-axis, this little green line. So now that we mirrored that, we're going to go to edit mode by pressing tab. We're going to press G and Y, and we're just going to scale these down. So this is going to be the little wings. So for the wings, you want to extrude in 3 even parts. So we have this even face right there. So you're going to click on this face, and we're going to just extrude it. And you're going to try to get it as even as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's what I like. Now we can also extrude this top portion and scale it down, extrude, scale it down, and this little portion here, extrude, scale it down. Alright, now for this bottom portion, what you want to do is hold shift left click on all 3, and we're going to extrude down. And then we're going to scale on the y-axis, so press S and Y. Now that's done, we're also going to add a little dip. So we're going to click on these with shift left click, and we're going to press I, and we're going to move these back with G and X. Perfect. Now we can all scale that down. You can even add more extrusions here. Alright. Now let's make our ears. So we're going to once again add mesh cube. We're going to add a subdivision surface like usual. And we're going to add a mirror modifier as well. We're going to click on Y. We're going to disable the X. And now we're going to go to edit mode to move it. So G and Y. Now that we're here, we're also going to add a loop cut right here at the top portion. So we added that loop cut. Now we're going to bring this up, and we're done with our ears. This is basically how I make my ears. Now let's go to face select and just hold shift and left click. We're going to press I to insert the face, and just move this towards each other, just towards the inside. Now I want my ears to be pointier, so I'm going to go back to edge select, select this top portion, and move this up. Alright, now that we've got that, we can press A and S to scale down, and we can also rotate this. And now you just using the move tool, you just move it to place. So we might want to scale the hat down, and we might want to rotate it as well. Perfect. Alright. Now, once again, let's add our texture. So add modifier, search. We're gonna add displace, knitted, UV, and 0.1. Now these are gonna look a bit weird, but similar to what we did to the hat, we're just gonna click on tab to go to edit mode. Once the object is selected, we're gonna click A, UV, smart UV project, 0.2 right there, unwrap. Now if we click here for the vision, so we can see it while in edit mode, you can see it looks much nicer. So let's add that texture to everything else. All right. And increase this, change this value to 0.1. And I'm gonna make the knitted pattern go downwards. So for these, I think the ears look weird. So I'm gonna just go to edit mode, click A, UV, smart UV project, and tab. There you go. And increase this. Okay. And just change the UV editing, and we're gonna rotate these. So you're just gonna hold left click drag, and we're gonna rotate these so they go downwards. And I'm going to do that to all of them. So there you go. One last thing that I like to do is I want the inside of the ears and the wings to not have texture. So to do that, we're gonna go to edit mode. We're gonna click here in the modifiers and we're gonna unsee the texture. Then we're gonna go to face select and we're just gonna select these faces using shift left click. So there's going to be some hidden faces. So what we can do is we can also unhide the subdivision. Perfect. So just select these faces as best as you can. There might be a little face hidden here. Now we're going to go to data. We're going to click this plus sign and just name this outside. Now we're going to go back here and we're going to press Control I to click on the inverse, or to select the inverse, and we're going to click assign. So we're going to select on outside and assign. Now when we press select, it'll select that vertex group. Now let's go back to modifiers. Let's add the subdivision so we can see it, and let's add the textures. And we're going to click here, down here where it says vertex group, left click, and we're going to click on the vertex group we just made. Now you can see this is empty. I like this look. And we're going to do the same thing for the ears. So once again, we're going to disable the vision so we can actually see what we're selecting. And we're just going to hold shift left click and just select this inside. And there's going to be a hidden portion right here. Alright. Now we're going to go back to data, plus sign, left click this twice, and let's call this outside. Press enter. And now we press Control I here. And we do left click here and we click on assign. Left click assign, just for good luck. Now we're going to go down to the vertex group, left click, outside. And let's see the vision. There you are. Our last step is to add the eyes and the mouth. We're going to click on add, mesh, cube. We're going to have a subdivision. And we're going to have a mirror. So we're going to do the y-axis as usual. Now we're going to go to edit mode. Press A if you don't have already everything selected. And just use the move tool. I'm going to scale this down. And I want his eyes to be apart. Like so. One thing that might help is if you want to see everything better, we can just color everything differently. So I'm going to make this bat purple. So I'm going to go to materials and I'm going to add a material to the wings, ears, and body. And we're going to click on this plus sign right here. And we're just going to call this purple. We can just get rid of that and let's color him purple. So I want a nice darkish purple color. Perfect. And just do that for all of them. You can just click on this little drop down to select your material. Now for the eyes, we're gonna make them black. Alright, now all he's missing is this little teeth. So we're gonna scale this cube down, use the move tool to move into place. Then we're gonna add a modifier, the mirror modifier, no subdivision unfortunately. And we're gonna also enable clipping here. Now we're gonna go to edit mode and just extrude on these side parts. Now we're gonna press A and we're gonna scale this down. And we're also gonna move it towards the center. I'm gonna move up as well, and all we gotta do is just extrude here. Now that you've extruded here, we're gonna select this back portion and we're gonna move that up. Now we're gonna select this bottom portion here and we're gonna scale on the y-axis. and just scale towards the middle. Now we can just scale on the Z axis. We can go back to edit mode. We can select these two and just move them down. And there we have it. He has his little teeth now. Now you can keep playing around with this if you want his teeth to be like a little smaller. Honestly, I'd rather have it like this so it's easier to print. So you might want to scale it on the x-axis. There we have it. Now we have a Christmas bat. So now to make it 3D printable, if you want to just keep it here for modeling purposes, you're done. All you gotta do is save your file. But we're gonna attempt to see if our slicer can handle this. So we're gonna click here on File, Export, and STL. Now we're gonna save our model in Downloads. So I'm gonna name this Knitted Bat. And export STL. Now let's go to our File Explorer and let's find our model. Alright. So you're going to see this menu that says the object from our file is too small or maybe too big. What you want to do is just press yes to this. And there you have it. Now I see our model. We can also scale this down and scale this up if it's not the proper size. And just go to supports. So I'm using Bamboo Studio. And just enable tree supports. So like click here in tree supports and let's slice. And let's see how this turns out. Perfect. Now you can just click on print and you're done. And this is all for this video.